Good. How are you?
Good.
Sorry, get your selfie sticker.
So replacing a guy like Sprinkle's pretty hard, but you got a good new group. Talk about them and what you're seeing from them.
Yeah, that's what recruiting's about. You know, guys come and go, and that's part of the life cycle of college football. And so I think we've had some pretty good success recruiting guys that are capable at the position. Some of them have already shown that in games. Some of them have yet to had that opportunity in games because they haven't earned it, and that's what this spring's about.
You got 5 guys in the sophomore class. Does that worry you at all in terms of like breaking things up?
No, worry. That's not worry. I don't know if that's necessarily ideal, but it is what it is, and that's the way it's worked out. And all that stuff sorts it out. Whether it's seniors, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, we don't care. We really don't. I think you guys know that. I mean, I don't think anybody in their right mind that runs a college football program cares who's out there. That we want the best players. You know, coaches do play favorites. They play the ones that are the best players, and those are their favorites. And so that's how this will work out, just like every other position.
Is Austin Cantrell your favorite?
Well, I don't know about that, but he's certainly earned the right to play, and he's really. I think he's off to a really good start through 5 practices. The experience he gained last year, he's turned into the player, close to turning into the player that we thought he would be in recruiting, and far from perfect, but he really likes football, and he's a good blocker, and his hands are good, and we're excited about where Austin's at.
How's he coming along as a receiver?
Austin has really good hands. His hands are excellent. Catching the football is an afterthought to him, and I don't, of course, you knock on wood with that. But day in and day out, he's proven he catch the ball. His deal is the conceptual, how to get open, the route running, all that kind of stuff. He's never going to probably be the route runner that a Hunter Henry was, because that's just who he is. But his skill set in blocking is fairly unique, and if we can get him up to speed in the passing game to be enough of a weapon for us, he's going to be more than effective, and he can do that.
Like the next tight end is pretty well up for grabs between a whole lot of guys, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. I mean, right now, I think some of that is TBD. It is, but certainly we got a guy in Jack Krause that has great value because he could play any of the 3 positions that we asked the tight ends to play and really do it well. Assignment sound. I think CJ's really starting to mature and show up, and so and then I get asked about this all the time, whether it's my dad or my wife or you guys or how are the tight ends doing. Well, they're all getting better. They're all getting better. They all had a baseline starting the spring, and they've all grown in that area. But the next 10 days are going to be really critical for how that's going to come out in the wash.
How far along are you guys on install, Barry, and what do you expect to be able
I'd
to do?
say I don't know the mathematical equation, Tom. I mean, I'm not being sarcastic. I'd say we're probably, a good 60 to 70% through install just overall, maybe more than that. So we've got a pretty good chunk of it in. There are obviously some concepts left that we haven't put in, but we're pretty deep into it, and and at the tight end position is no more unique than any other position we have on our team. They're asked to do a lot of different things, and the more you put in, the more you find out what really they know and what they don't know, because it comes out when they get up at the line of scrimmage.
How's Hayden Johnson doing with you guys?
Well, Hayden's done well. I mean, Hayden's a football player. He's played for us. He's helped us win games since he's been here. And really, at the end of the day, there's a fine line between my room and Reggie's room when it comes to the Fs, to the tight end fullback position. A real fine line. Just like in a lot of ways, there's a fine line between my room and Michael's room in the passing game. There's a real gray area there, and so we felt like it would be good to let Hayden kind of be trained. At the end of the day, Hayden in my room, in the tight end room, is going to get trained and reinforced on those fullback type things, because we've had guys in our room that have played fullback. Jeremy Sprinkle spent the majority of the year 2 years ago at fullback. Austin Cantrell last year, a lot of fullback time. So they get those things, but they're also getting some of the true tight end stuff. Whereas if he was just over there with Reggie, he was just going to get the fullback aspect of it. And so we felt like that would benefit him, and it has. Yeah.
When you look at these guys dual training, how does that help the team overall?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to put my thumb on that a little bit, but it helps the individual. The more you know in our offense, the more valuable you become. The more roles you can handle, the more valuable you are. And so we try to, in every room, wide out, Michael tries to coach his guys to learn all the positions. Kurt at the O-line, they coach them to learn all. And that's just coaching, and so, but having a guy like Hayden or having a guy that can play Y and F or whatever the two tight ends positions are for us creates more value for them.
As an Arkansas guy, do you feel that kids from Arkansas should have a pull to attend the University of Arkansas if they're offered that scholarship and that opportunity?
Well, you went from one spectrum to the other there. You came right at it. That's all right. Well, I can't speak for that. I can only speak from my experience. And from my experience being an Arkansas kid, yes, that's how I felt. And I think that there are a lot of kids that do feel that way. I don't think it's necessarily I think each case, is just case by case. It's different. I think it's different now than it was 20 years ago, just with the media exposure to available to all the other brands across the country. It's a little bit different, but people that grow up here that have been in this state, that know what the Razorbacks are, know what it means to the people of Arkansas, and really know what it would mean for them to be a student athlete here at this university long term. I think that would be a really good idea for them to feel that way.
I like to talk about recruiting a lot, obviously, but y'all not going to have as big a class this year, it would appear, but you're getting a lot of people in here early, got a lot of people in here last year, got a lot of commits early. Just talk about how important that is to y'all. Well,
you can certainly see the benefits of the early enrollment. We've already got, a guy like Malik Williams that's been through 5 practices, and man, he's a good football player, and it's the benefit that he's getting. Shane Clint, all these guys, that obviously speaks for itself. And then, obviously we got some other guys that are going to be here on a different timeline. And man, it's just made it so much better the last few years. The rules that allow us to get our hand. Back in the day, you needed 2-a-days. When I reported, the first time I saw my coach was the first day of August. And it's so different now. You're so much more acclimated from a strength and conditioning point, a mental standpoint. So that makes a huge difference for the development of incoming freshmen. And so I think it's going to help us get some help out of these guys this year.
During the spring, y'all are bringing in a lot of kids.